So he was being sarcastic, you know what I mean? Because every time that something get mentioned about something out of OT, it all turn to OTC.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just a real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Yeah, what's your issue with J-Ton overall?
It wasn't nothing.
Okay.
If I say we're gonna leave it alone. It wasn't nothing. Because let me show you why. And I can't say this. I'm allowed to say this. If I don't have nothing good to say about J-Ton or Trey or Ro, I can't say nothing at all. I won't say nothing at all. You know
Speaking of that,
that's my brothers.
J-Dog was just in your
on
your show.
That was deep. Yeah, man, that went into the they popped in on us and put us into some crip politics and I was like, what the hell? What happened? Real Tune pulled back up. Then he accused me of setting him up. And I'm like, what kind of triple cross internet Hoover business going on here? I'm like, bro, hold on, whoa. I've been out that game a long time ago. Let's say that I'm 50. Man, we turned to players in Houston. We went from movers to players. You know what I mean? But that was some OG Percy responding to the Crips that when they went down there with Real Tune. And you know how they do OTC. You know what cuz over there know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I think Percy was just being sarcastic.
Yeah, I think he was playing.
About what y'all think he was being sarcastic about?
Yeah, we know Percy know his knowledge. Tell him, you can tell him.
The Crips, to say that even anything in Texas started any type of gang culture, that's an LA thing. It's in LA.
That's like saying somebody else started third.
It's in LA. What Texas started nothing out there with that.
Because he said something about Shreveport, right? Tookie Williams.
But Tookie Williams, but hold on. Tookie Williams.
That's why he tried to hold on to
that. That's why he's being sarcastic. We all know that Raymond Washington started Crippin'. Well, you should know that if you don't.
That's what I mean.
But when Tookie Williams came out there, Crippin' had already been going on. Come on now, don't make my old ass get to spitting knowledge.
No,
now.
you feel
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, I guess I wouldn't know. But, the thing is, when he went out there, he already was him, but that was already going on. So he was being sarcastic, you know what I mean? Because every time that something get mentioned about something out of OT, it all turn to OTC, And there's just things that make you say, you know what I mean? That's all I can say is I think people should really start just making sure that they repping they block a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's cool to be what you are, but just rep your block. And what's wrong with your block?
Yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts. Now, we got to speak on it because, again, as the world watches, the world kind of took a pause for a moment, man. Where that boy Sauce, man, he went out to Memphis for the first time in forever. And for him to come back and, again, God bless the dead, we have to say it because, ain't no situation where we want to see someone either lose a life or have an attempt on their life. But for you, Mike, when you seen that, of course, Sauce God himself was part of it, and even the footage that came out of it, where they speak on him.
Miss Megan's here, but I got the call before all that came. When Say Cheese was posting it,
You was already in the know.
You feel me? So when I got it, my stomach hurt. It killed me. I've seen this too many times with my people. And Sauce Walka has become a real nephew of mine. Like, I love that kid. Miss Megan, his mama right here. You know what I mean?
Come on.
His second mama right here. Rest in peace to his natural mama. You know what I mean? Where were you when you heard that news, Miss Megan?
We got Miss Megan in the building. If you don't mind, please walk us through.
Yeah, so first of all, rest in peace, SaySoP.
For sure.
We love him dearly. So it was just kind of when I look back to that day, I think about from when I woke up to when it happened. And I've had this shirt in my closet that I've never worn. And it was from Dreams, from Exotic Pop. And it was a collab that he had with Walk. And it was just really odd because I decided to wear this particular t-shirt that day, and I'd never worn it. And, I was going out and about with the grandkids. And so I had on his shirt, and I also had his son Splash. So, so while we were actually on our way to a restaurant that was for children, so they could play outside and have all the fun and all that. So I was on Highway 6, and I got the message in our Sauce chat. And it was probably one of the hardest things to ever experience, like, because, he was away, and it wasn't a situation where we could just pull up on him and make it better. So, so just having to hold it together for Splash and allowing him to have fun and, still not, even understanding, what is really going on, in the world. But also to have people that, where the restaurant that I was at, it was pretty, awesome, because there was like 3 different people that noticed me, recognized me as Miss Megan, and who were familiar with what had just happened. And, they came and approached me, and, they hugged me, and I just felt like, and I'm way on the other side in Cypress, Texas, but yeah, I mean, it was very hard. And so like I was with Splash, his son, we pulled together, and we brought him home. Sometimes Sauce Walka gets on the internet, and he entertains. That's what people don't understand about him, is that he is a pure entertainer. So seeing him laugh on the internet, and continuing on with his business as a CEO, a BEO, that's just what he knows how to do. But when cameras were off, we get to see the real Albert. We get to see the real Sauce Walka, and he hurts. He misses SaySo. He replays the situation, I'm sure, over and over.
Over in his head, and people want to know why he didn't come to the funeral. Like, what can you help us out with that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think each of us, we mourn in our own ways. Death has been something that, as a whole, we haven't really had to deal with too much of, thank God, within TSF. But with Walk, the way he dealt with it, he sent a beautiful arrangement to the memorial.
Because I've heard that y'all had to drag him to his own mom's funeral,
right, in Chicago. Yes, right. And I mean, definitely.
And he didn't go to train,
and not only that, but you have to understand,
he don't deal with death the same, right? Yeah.
But him going back to Memphis, and we still have the people on the loose, like. I was going to go to the service, and I just kind of stepped back and went to the memorial service in Miami. Like, it was just something about Memphis, I'm sure.
Can you, Ms. Megan, can you speak to with Walk still doing the pop-ups that he was supposed to do, the showing up to everything that he said he was going to do in Memphis for SaySo, saying that, because a lot of people were saying like, oh, well, he had to do it because it was, he was already obliged to do it because he was paid to do it. Can you speak on him still going through and doing all the venues that he said he was going to do while he was out there with SaySo?
One thing about Sauce Walka, he does what he wants to do. He doesn't have to do if nobody, he's not doing it because people are making him, or, he's doing what he wants to do. He also did what SaySo would want him to do. SaySo was very proud of Sauce Walka. For him to come to Memphis, that was something that SaySo has wanted to happen for a very long time. So, just the fact that, Sauce was there, and he and SaySo were both aware of, the promo and that was going on. He fulfilled SaySo's obligations, this is what he wanted, to show Sauce Walka off to Memphis. Like, he was so proud of him,
Yes, he was.
And the, crazy thing is, Walk was so proud of SaySo. He just, did some beautiful things in Miami. He took, and has a beautiful studio. Shout out to his mom, who has, keeping him alive and really doing, everything she can just to stay stay positive. But yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate. The internet, really is against you or for you. And when that happens, you just kind of go with your own drip, your own flow, and that's what Sauce Walka does. He doesn't worry about the, media or what people have to say, because he feels in his heart he's doing the right thing.
How do y'all deal with the people saying that when the people came from Memphis and something, one of the guys got shot or killed or something, like they trying to say, oh man, that was get back and this, that, and the third. And
I mean, that was just a pure coincidence. Like in the crazy world we live in, who knows who was trying to do what, or why, but we definitely had no connections to that. But the crazy thing about that is where the body was found, it was right next to a 45, actually. It was right off 45.
Wow.
And that particular week that he was found, I had for 5 days straight traveled right past that, back and forth, going to someplace, right? And so it just was eerie to know at some point that body was there, and I was driving by, you know what I mean?
And
but
this is who did this to my son right here. This is crazy.
Right. And to be that close to the situation. But I mean, again, as you can see, it never made the news past from when they found the body. Like we definitely had nothing to do with that.
Of course not.
Yeah.
When the footage came out, did you opt to look at the footage? Like, I know.
No, I didn't want to.
Okay,
But I did.
Okay.
I didn't look at it for a minute, like for a good week. And then when the footage came out of another view, I forget, it was like probably one of the last cameras that were, and it caught like the whole view of it. Papa Sauce, shout out to Papa Sauce. He's a very strong man and loves his son dearly.
Oh yeah.
And he just, thought I should take a look at it, and I did. And it was very hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. I mean, just hearing the people say, oh, Sauce Walka could have, the shooter spared him his life. No, they didn't. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he still right now has 2 bullets in his leg.
Yeah, that wasn't no spare.
That wasn't any spare. He got hit, and
blessed.
He got blessed, and
it could go anyway.
Could have went anywhere.
R.P. Roy Lee, he got shot in his leg, and it succumbed to his life. So it's
even right now we have to make sure that it's clean.
Yeah, you got to.
So that's a tricky place to get shot right there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Come on. Yeah, no. Thanks.
I got shot and drove myself to. So I'm gonna say one thing about Sauce Walka though, because we were just down there. Like the energy, bro got. When I walked up on him, I was like, yeah, bro, it was Charlie Moore, real life street star. He just smiled real big. Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? He got God with him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he be blessing. When you bless others, you know what I'm saying? You got miracles that happen. Yeah.
So, Mike, if you don't mind, for you yourself, when you hear that news, everyone, and again, I know the culture of the H is like, everybody is like, they're your nephews. They come up under you. When you hear that news yourself, how do you take it before you even know like what it is?
Man, I'm like Miss Megan, man. It gets you pretty choked up there, man, because I've, like I stated on my podcast, I've had that phone call a few times. Yeah. It's the worst time, it's the worst type of phone call you get from the worst type of people in your life, Because I don't know, a lot of people, Miss Megan know, a lot of people don't know, man, when Walt does these crazy antics or says something that might be, go over the top, the Drake, the Thug, the this, he calls me. He calls me. And I talked to him in the back of the ambulance. Yeah. Yeah, that was a hard one now, but I was just more elated that, he was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just know that would have just took us down. It would have set Houston back to 2000 when Screw died. We don't need that.
To lose B King so randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And for Sauce to come again, thank God that, you know, we still have, you know, the culture there, because you're right. There's some losses you can't come back from.
No.
And it's like, man, we ain't trying to experience.
Go back there again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that pain from Miss Megan. You see how she talks and she can't even speak on it without tearing up. You see how everybody take it, how y'all take it. Everybody feel it. Dallas, everybody. He is Texas.
Yeah.
He is Texas. You can say what you want to say. Even his ops felt that.
Come on.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.